Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Is XRP waking up again? You know, today it reached as high as $1.51. And I know it's pulled back slightly since then. It's at $1.44 at the time I record this. But this is on the same day that, well, of course, Bitcoin started to move up a bit too. But most notably, Ethereum made a fairly massive move. I mean, it hasn't done anything in a hot minute here. And that's great, though, even if you don't hold Ethereum. And I say that because, you know, notable Ethereum price moves can be an early signal, and historically are an early signal, that alt season is coming. So I want to share with you some of the most recent perspectives here, but what I keep seeing from every reputable analyst that I follow is that, you know, fine. So we've just experienced our first, pullback since the election in the crypto market. But, we really, truly are on the cusp of, if history rhymes with itself, we are on the cusp of taking off. Like the next several months, this is the part where it finally actually is life-changing, if history is to rhyme with itself. That's why it's so exciting to be here right now. So I'm going to share with you a recent analysis, but XRP, let me tell you, XRP specifically, and we'll get to it, let me do things in a specific order, but broad expectation that XRP absolutely is going to be launching sooner than later. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So look, I'm just as curious as the next person as to when Bitcoin's finally going to break through that psychological level of $100,000. As far as I'm concerned, it's a virtual inevitability with where we are and seeing where Bitcoin price is right now and understanding that what comes after this is alt season. Yeah, I would expect this to happen because, Bitcoin can, and I expect that it will continue to go up in price to whatever degree, just losing market dominance. Because let's be real, like the real opportunity for life-changing wealth at this point, it is not in Bitcoin. It absolutely is not. I challenge anybody to argue on that point. It is absolutely not in Bitcoin. Even if Bitcoin does something wild and does like a 2 or 3x from here, so what? It goes to $200,000 or $300,000. That's a 2 to 3x. That's it. How much money has to flow into XRP to get a 2 or 3x? Not that much comparatively. And it's been undervalued for years. So even from this price level, when it's hanging out now it's at $1.45. But it was nice to see Bitcoin, move back to the upside. 97,179 bucks, 24-hour high. Crypto Fear and Greed Index back in extreme greed, 77 out of 100. And I wanted to highlight this. This is a post from the blockchain backer. This was on November 23rd, several days ago. And I'm highlighting this because his suspicion proved to be correct today. Absolutely. So the chart that's on your screen here, it's a dominance chart for several coins: Bitcoin, ETH, Tether, and USDC. And so he shared this, and he said, definitely moved these past 2 weeks. Last time it paused for like 50 to 60 days, then resumed for the big event. So you can see as of November 23rd, where I'm circling on the screen right now, this is what he's noting in terms of recent times up to this point, and that the dominance percentage has gone down a bit. And then he's noting, based on this purple fractal that he has right here, the last time this happened, last market cycle, look at that dominance drop. Now, that is fantastic because, and I know ETH is in this as well, but typically when you see that, that means that there's this rotation happening where money's flowing out. It could be the stable coins, Bitcoin. It doesn't mean that ETH absolutely has to tank at that point. It just happens to be lumped in this particular chart. But he wrote in a separate post right after that, he said, in reference to this, which could be a lot of things, but I could speculate it means Ethereum wakes up. Now, on that point, he was absolutely correct. It finally ran for the first time in a hot minute today. I mean, yeah, it moved up a little bit for, since the November 5th election, fine. But this was the big day. So it got up to 3,678 bucks. It's currently at 3,583, but I saw it up about 10% over the last 24 hours, just a little bit earlier today. You'll love to see that because, again, like I was saying at the outset of the video, even if you don't hold ETH, that's not the point. There's a reason that you should be interested in this regardless, because it's a signal. And so when this has happened in previous cycles, it has preceded, very short order, a massive move into altcoin mania. There's also this post from Credible Crypto. He is warning of a little bit of a pullback for ETH here, but he's still happy to see what we've seen today. And so this is a post from this afternoon. He said, recent strength on ETH is nice to see, but we are now approaching the first trouble area on the ETH BTC pairing. A rejection here and lower high would give us a push into weekly demand, which paired with a 10% correction on Bitcoin would give us our major $2,700 to $2,800 buy zone. So he's saying that you could expect that if Bitcoin indeed moves to the downside, which he noted in recent days, he still thinks is plausible, potentially Bitcoin before we do see a break above $100,000, which he does believe is coming. Before that, he thinks it's at least possible, not certain, but possible. You could see Bitcoin back into the 80,000s here. But still, and he noted at the end of his post here, look, if you're just a spot holder, meaning you're somebody who's purchasing your cryptocurrency on exchange, whether it's Ether or anything else, frankly, you don't have to worry about this. He says that you only really need to track this if you're a trader and be aware of what's happening so that you can make sense of when to get in and out of positions. Now, even though I'm not a trader, and I never will be, I think it doesn't make sense for the vast majority of humans. I don't need that in my life, and 95% of traders, data shows, they lose money, so it's just stupid anyway, for most people, at least. I'm still interested in the day-to-day oscillations because I've got skin in the game and it's fun to track it, and I know that we are, if history rhymes with itself, in that moment where it could just burst. Like the dam bursts any freaking day now. And that's why it's so exciting as an XRP holder to see that XRP has run this high and we haven't even gotten to that point yet. That is just astonishing to me. That is true strength. Take a look at this post from chart analyst Dom, and he's showing the total chart. The total chart is just the chart that shows the market cap for the entire crypto asset class. It's just called total. And he's showing, he's showing the total chart on the left from 2018 to 2020, so previous cycle. And on the right, he's showing the same chart, but the time period is for now. And he's noting that it looks like it's probably doing the same thing as last time. So here's what he wrote, and this is why it's exciting. Because as soon as this thing breaks, XRP is absolutely going to be part of this. And it has just been it is so artificially suppressed for years. My God, I can only imagine where this thing's going to top. But here's what he wrote. While everyone was complaining about our first pullback since the election, Total was silently retesting previous all-time high. And then he wrote in bold print, this is the exact setup that happened last cycle before everything went vertical. We are very likely on the cusp of 2 months of turbo everything mode. And so, like I keep saying in these videos where I talk about price action, we don't go literally up in a straight line forever. Yeah, we have the fun phrase number go up because it effectively feels like that, but you get pullbacks here. And so he's saying last cycle, and same for this case, the case here, the entire crypto market cap, it went back down to test the previous all-time high. That's the same thing it did last time too. So that's what it's done at least to this point. He's saying that's a good sign. It's normal. It's healthy. Markets do this. And this precedes the market going vertical. And you can see last market cycle, he ain't kidding. If you're looking at the screen, you can see what happened. See how quickly that happened? Over a span of months? That's what is ahead of us. Now, mind you, the market cap for the asset class is $3.3 trillion, a little over that at this point. And so I understand we gained I think over $1 trillion in market cap since the election, something ridiculous like that. It's around there anyway. So awesome to see that, but that ain't nothing yet, folks. It makes me wonder where we're going to peak because some analysts think it'll be closer to be in terms of market cap for the entire asset class, maybe closer to $10 trillion. Which, by the way, doesn't mean that your coins only do a 3x from here. And the reason is money will rotate into a select few at a time, and then those will pump up, people will take profit, and they'll rotate in the next, and it draws in more new money, and then eventually you do find a peak ultimately. But that's the reason you can still get, even if the market cap just triples for the asset class, that's the reason you can still get 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50-fold increases in specific coins. That's historically very normal. It's no different. I have no reason to think it's certainly any different at this particular point. And so that is what's ahead of us as XRP holders. Most people don't even know this stuff, so kudos to you for paying attention. This is real life. This is how it works. This is my third bull run. And yes, the last two absolutely were like this. There's no reason to believe that humans are going to suddenly start behaving differently. We got the same DNA in us, which is why I somewhat half-jokingly state sometimes we are biological robots. There's some truth to that. We keep doing the same stuff over and over and over again. On the whole, doesn't mean that individuals can't change, but on the whole, us humans, we do keep doing the same stuff. It makes no sense to think, given that there's been no dramatic shock in terms of the parameters that we're living in here, market-wise, it doesn't make any sense to think that it's not going to happen again now. It is going to happen again now. unless we have a black swan event or something crazy like that. Yeah, it's ahead. So let's talk about XRP. Here's a post from this afternoon from Dark Defender, chart analyst, and he says, XRP closed 2 consecutive candles in the 4-hour chart above our Fibonacci level of $1.44. Staying above $1.44 is a confirmation for $1.63, which, by the way, again, folks, at least at the time I'm recording this, we are. And I don't remember if I said what time it is. I don't think I did. The time I'm recording this, it is 9:50 p.m. Central Time, my time zone, on Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. So at least at the time that I'm recording this, the answer is yes. We're above that. And so if he's right, and if we stay above this, then you could see a burst sooner than later back to the most recent high, maybe even slightly above it. He says $1.63. And then the next target after that is $1.88. He's been targeting that forever. And I'll not be surprised to see that get taken out. It's going to be, one of the most fun things this cycle, just to see it in terms of levels getting hit. Well, it'll be so fun to see that 2021 high get taken out at $2. I would really love to see that. And part of the reason is, first of all, it's just because the nonsense SEC artificial suppression. I just want to see that taken out, partly because of that reason. And then on top of that, so many analysts say, seriously, above that, if that $2 level breaks, that's that resist. And there's some resistance there. There is. I've seen tons of analysts say there's really not a ton of resistance above that. There's not people that want to sell, they're going to sell on the way up. And all sorts of levels have been targeted. We talked about 65 cents for a long time, 75 cents, that psychologically even $1 level. $1.61, analysts were saying that was a notable one. And then wouldn't you know it, we bounced right off of that. So, there is something to technical analysis, my friends. And then the next one would be, according to most analysts anyway, closer to that 2021 all-time high. But I keep seeing after that, tons of these analysts agree. It's there's really not much above that. The people that wanted to sell, they'll have sold by then. And then you're in this crypto mania where the bubble's going and there's euphoria, new retailers coming in. And to get to that all-time high, it's not going to necessarily take that much. So we'll see. Then there's this post from chart analyst Dr. Magic, XRP USD chart. He says, if you are wondering if it's the real pump XRP is experiencing, don't be. XRP above this moving average, that's the red line on the screen for those of you looking, he says, XRP above this moving average was always the signal. Last cycle, we had SEC ruin the party. Right now, I see nothing but bullish catalysts ahead of us, and the good part of the alt season hasn't started. And so that's what I was saying a couple of minutes ago. That's the crazy thing. XRP's at this level. We've gained $1 trillion in market cap, and the most fun part of this party, it hasn't started yet. It hasn't. Yes, we've been coming and moving to the upside ever since the depths of the bear market, November of 2022. But the most euphoric, fun part has not started yet. But we are super close. We are incredibly close. I remember this part of the cycle, though, 4 years ago, because XRP started moving at about the same time. It was beginning of November 2020. It was low 20-something cents. And then its first major burst was up to 80 cents. And then it had a bit of a pullback. And we know in December, obviously, the SEC messed stuff up for us. But that was the first major move to the upside. And that was before alt season. Most of the alt season stuff, you'll remember if you were there, the vast majority was in the first part of 2021, the first 3-4 months, whatever you want to call it. That's when most of that action happened. But we did see action before that, including with XRP. It preceded, so you could have thought, "Wow, this is all," and it was fun. Don't get me wrong. November, that was exciting. I remember being really excited at that point in the beginning part of December. This is exciting. Oh my God, XRP! It's going into the bull run. Young Moon Lambo, not knowing what the SEC would do, but still, it was exciting, and stuff was moving, and then it got way more crazy. So we're in that moment, the same moment we were towards the end of 2020. It feels and looks the same. It really does. There's also this post from chart analyst Dom, XRP BTC chart here, and I love to see this. So he's got this trend line drawn going back literally a decade, and you can see what happens every time XRP price against Bitcoin has hit this level. It's hit this trend line. It's bounced up dramatically in 2014. Here you go in 2017, last cycle, 2000. You could say 2020 and even 2021. There are two pretty big ones. And here we are. What do you know? What do you know? Surprise, surprise. Except for I'm not surprised at all. Here we are at the end of 2024, and it did it yet again after touching that trend line. Wouldn't you know it? As I've been saying the whole year, XRP always historically finds a bottom against Bitcoin. And wouldn't you know it, it did it at the time where it makes sense and the whole market's going up. The whole market's going up in tandem. Wouldn't you know it? If you've been listening to me for this whole year, then you know that I'm not surprised. I've been saying this the whole damn time. If the market's going to take off, yes, XRP is going to be a part of it. But the thing is, especially compared to where, XRP was priced against Bitcoin towards the bottom, I mean, that was like peak opportunity for the cycle. But still, XRP is going to dramatically outperform the vast majority of coins to other top coins this market cycle. I do believe that's most probable. So Dom shared this chart and he wrote, XRP has another 60% to grow against Bitcoin before meeting any real large resistance. 2,700 sats is a magnet, around $2.50 at the moment. This is a 5-year resistance level. So, I certainly buy that. Conceptually, yes, of course. I mean, it's not going to go up in a straight line. Like, it will bounce off of it. That's fine. You can see, look at the previous market cycles. It didn't mean it was over, though. XRP is still going to dramatically outperform. If you are not at least as excited as me, I'm wondering if you have a pulse. Are you on this side of the dirt? Because it doesn't make sense to not be ridiculously excited. And this is not how I am. For those of you that have been following me for years, you know I'm not normally like this, but I am in bull markets. And we're in one right now, folks. And we're approaching that moment where the magic really does happen. Then this is the opportunity for life-changing wealth. This is when we're on the cusp. It really is true, if history's to rhyme with itself anyway. So we'll find out together. But again, without a black swan event, I just can't imagine that it's remotely probable we won't see it. I mean, come on. It's going to go, folks. This is the time. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say, all right? That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.